In this video, we are going to unbox the Eastland Lumber Up Chukka boot to see if it's worth $135. And along the way, we'll check out some of the features, some of the size, and what I think about the boots. So without further ado, let's get into this unboxing. So this is what the boots and the box come in. As always, really enjoy the individual packing. It's presentation that matter. So let's turn the boots to the side. This boots feature a faux leather, which means it is man-made leather. And this explains why this boot is very light the first time I pick it up. It is almost as light as the Bruno Mark that I reviewed a few videos ago. And as you can see here, this boot comes in a brown color. They call it peanut. It has a nice mix of light brown color with a little bit of the dark abrasive burn at the end here on the toe and the heel area. So the leather on this boot is fairly light. If you take a look here, I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's pretty thin, and that was the first thing that I noticed when I picked them up. I mean, just looking at the picture, I was expecting a thicker and heavier boot, so this boot kind of caught me by surprise. The lining on the inside is fairly soft with a little bit of padding, and then also feature 7 eyelets on each side of the boots. This eyelets and the shoelace work together really nicely for a really quick loosen or fasten it. It works really well, so that was very pleasant. You also have the triple stitch action going on at the front on the side here, and then in the back there's a double stitch that run along the back of the heel. And look at this mock toe. This has a really nice clean design. So this dark area at the front and at the heel, I call it burnt, but they call it silhouette. I have a little concern on the stitching. The finishing on this boot for most of the part worked really well, but the stitching, there's a few areas on the boots that has some questionable stitching. It's just loose and it doesn't have that clean finish to it, but everything else looked good. The leather feels really soft. The insole has some paddings to it, but it's not at the level of cushion that I wanted it to be, but it does have some padding on the inside. Another concern that I have is the design at the bottom of the boot. For me, it's just too smooth of a surface. There's not much crease, there's not much any design really. It's just a little bit too smooth for me to feel comfortable walking on wet surfaces. So that's another concern that I have with this boot. And this boot features storm welt, which is similar to the Goodyear welt, but the storm welt is supposed to be a lot better at keeping moisture out of the boot. As far as the size go, I got this in a 9.5. A lot of people says that it is true size. I don't agree with that. I got this in a size 9.5 and they usually fit me pretty well, but this is very snug when I put it on. It's a little bit narrow, and then this toe area at this intersection right here, whenever I take a step, I feel the tension down on my feet. Maybe it's just because it's too low. I would have wished that they raised the leather up a little bit more. It wasn't too comfortable to walk in this. I recommend getting a half size bigger, especially for people who are used to wide width shoes. The boot also has shank for support, which is great. I'm always been a proponent of having shank inside the boots. It just provides that extra support. As much as I don't like the design, the bottom of the boot, the outsole is pretty soft with a combination of the insole, a little bit cushion on the padding, and this rubber sole. I feel the bounce every time that I take a step, and it really helps a lot when the boot is as light as this. So overall, I do agree that the boot is very soft and it's very comfortable. However, I do have some question about the quality, the stitching, and the way this boot feels on my feet. It just doesn't really convince me 100% that the quality is really well and it's gonna last long. So I'm a little bit iffy on the quality. It's pretty enjoyable to walk in this because it's pretty light, and the rubber sole really give it a little bit of a bounce every step that you take, so that help a lot. This is the Eastland Lumber Up Chukka boot. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.